طفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ويسألونك عن ذي القرنين قل سأتلو عليكم منه ذكرا إنا مكنا له في الأرض وآتيناه من كل شيء سببا فأتبع سببا حتى إذا بلغ مغرب الشمس وجدها تغرب في عين حمئة ووجد عندها قوما قلنا يا ذا القرنين إما أن تعذب وإما أن تتخذ فيهم حسنا قال أما من ظلم فسوف نعذبه ثم يرد إلى ربه فيعذبه عذابا نكرا وأما من آمن وعمل صالحا فله جزاء الحسنى وسنقول له من أمرنا يسرا ثم أتبع سببا حتى إذا بلغ مطلع الشمس وجدها تطلع على قوم لم نجعل لهم من دونها سترا كذلك وقد أحطنا بما لديه خبرا ثم أتبع سببا حتى إذا بلغ بين السدين وجد من دونهما قوما لا يكادون يفقهون قولا قالوا يا ذا القرنين إن يأجوج ومأجوج مفسدون في الأرض فهل نجعل لك خرجا على أن تجعل بيننا وبينهم سدا قال ما مكني فيه ربي خير فأعينوني بقوة أجعل بينكم وبينهم ردما آتوني زبر الحديد حتى إذا ساوى بين الصدفين قال انفخوا حتى إذا جعله نارا قال آتوني أفرغ عليه قطرا فما استطاعوا أن يظهروه وما استطاعوا له نقبا قال هذا رحمة من ربي فإذا جاء وعد ربي جعله دكاء وكان وعد ربي حقا صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Surah Kahf. In this part of the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us about the story of Hazrat Qurnayn, who was a great king that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given a lot of authority and a lot of power in this world. It is said that the two believing kings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given the biggest kingdoms were Sulaiman ala nabina salatu wassalam and then Qurnayn. Some ulama say that he was a Nabi and some say that he was not a Nabi, but this has not been clarified in the Quran. And as we had said at the beginning of the surah, and actually before the surah in the last part of the surah Bani Israel, that the kuffar of Makkah, they had been told 3 questions to ask to the Prophet ﷺ. These questions they were told by the Yajooj, and these people, they knew, they had a lot of knowledge, the Yajooj, the Jewish people, they had a lot of knowledge about the previous books. So they asked them that ask him these questions, and what are the answers that he gives. So about the matter of Qurnayn, there was a lot of ambiguity, and over time many things had been added by people about the story. And some of these things we also hear today, that he was going for searching for the water of living forever, and he was Alexander and this and that, all of these things. So even in that time there was this thing that was found really in the scriptures, and then there was so many other things that were added as amalgamations, as impurities to that reality. So the intent behind this question was, if he is the real prophet, he will only tell you that which Allah has told, and which the previous Anbiya have said, if he is their true brother and a true Nabi. So they came and they asked the Prophet ﷺ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is answering the question here. Yes, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنْ ذِي الْقَرْنَيْنِ, and they ask you about ذِي الْقَرْنَيْنِ. قُلْ سَأَتْلُو عَلَيْكُم مِّنْهُ ذِكْرًا. Say, I shall now recite to you an account of him. إِنَّا مَكَّنَّا لَهُ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had, surely we gave him power, fil ard, over the earth, on earth. وَآتَيْنَاهُ مِنْ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ سَبَبًا, and gave him means to have everything he needs. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given him a lot of authority, a lot of means. فَأَتْبَعَ سَبَبًا, so he followed a course. So he started going in a direction. Hatta, basically by way of conquering the land, he started moving in a certain direction. حتى إذا بلغ مغرب الشمس. The first direction that he traveled was towards the west, until when he reached the point of sunset. وجدها تغرب. He found it setting, the sun setting, في عين حمئة, in a spring which was cloudy and dark. So the mention here is of the ocean, that if you look at the ocean right before the sunset or towards the sunset, it appears black and dark, and he saw it setting in the ocean. The literal meaning is not that it was setting in the ocean, but when you are standing on the edge of the ocean and the ocean is vast and you cannot see the edge of the ocean, it appears as if the sun is setting in the ocean. So this is the mention here. وَوَجَدَ عِنْدَهَا قَوْمًا. And towards the westernmost populated area, he found a nation, he found a people. قُلْنَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Hazrat Qurnayn, Ya Dhul Qurnayn, O Dhul Qurnayn, imma an tu'adhiba wa imma an tattakhidha fihim husna. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him a choice, either punish them or adopt good behavior with them. So the ulama have written that this people, they already had been given the call of oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and still they had chosen kufr. They were living a life of kufr. So Dhul Qurnayn was sent to punish them, or before he punishes them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him an option that you can try and invite them, do the good thing to them and invite them to the oneness and the true deen first. قال, Hazrat Qurnayn said, أما من ظلم فسوف نعذبه ثم يرد إلى ربه فيعذبه عذابا نكرا. He said that as for him who does wrong, we shall punish him. So basically Hazrat Qurnayn chose the second option, that, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had also encouraged by saying that an tattakhidha fihim husna, do the better thing to them. So he invited them, he chose that I will invite them to the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the true deen first, and then those who choose to do zulm or injustice, or basically not listen and not submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَسَوْفَ نُعَذِّبُهُ. So in this world we will torment them, punish them, basically kill them, fight with them. ثُمَّ يُرَدُّ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِ. And then that person will return to his Lord. فَيُعَذِّبُهُ عَذَابًا نُكْرًا. He will be sent back to his Lord, and then he will be punished. Allah will punish him with a severe punishment. So in this world, I will become a punishment for him if he chooses kufr, and in the hereafter, Allah will do what he wants to do, the punishment that Allah will want to give. وَأَمَّا مَنْ آمَنَ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا. And as for the one who believes and acts righteously, فَلَهُ جَزَاءً الْحُسْنَى. Then for them, they will have the best life as reward. وَسَنَقُولُ لَهُ مِنْ أَمْرِنَا يُسْرًا. And we shall speak to him politely in our directions. So basically, those who bring faith and listen to and come to terms with the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we will deal with them nicely. ثُمَّ أَتْبَعَ سَبَبًا. After having dealt with these people, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not tell us what really happened, what did they accept or not. That is what the previous scriptures contain, and this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving in the Quran as well. ثُمَّ أَتْبَعَ سَبَبًا. Thereafter he followed a course. So now he went in a different direction. حَتَّى إِذَا بَلَغَ مَطْلِعَ الشَّمْسِ. In the opposite direction, until he went to that place of earth where he found the sunrise, the sun rising. وَجَدَهَا تَطْلُعُ عَلَىٰ قَوْمٍ لَمْ نَجْعَلْ لَهُم مِّن دُونِهَا سِتْرًا. He found it rising over a people for whom we did not make any shelter against it. So these people were such savages that they did not have civilization, they did not use any clothing that normal human beings use to shelter from the sun and protect from the harmful effects of sun. Neither did they build any dwellings which would have shelter and shade. So basically they were in the direct sunlight. كَذَلِكَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, thus was it. وَقَدْ أَحَطْنَا بِمَا لَدَيْهِ خُبْرًا. And our knowledge fully comprehends whatever Hazrat Dhul Qurnayn had with him. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asserting this in the middle of the story, that this is the real story of Hazrat Dhul Qurnayn, and our knowledge, the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it encompasses everything that was with Dhul Qurnayn, either alayhi salam if he was a Nabi or a pious slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ثُمَّ أَتْبَعَ سَبَبًا. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not tell what he did with these people. Again, the ulama have written that most likely the same thing, that he did the same thing to them, invited them to Islam. If they listened, he dealt with them politely, otherwise he punished them. Hatta. Then he ثُمَّ أَتْبَعَ سَبَبًا. Thereafter he followed a course. حَتَّى إِذَا بَلَغَ بَيْنَ السَّدَّيْنِ. Until when he reached between the two mountains. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not told us the direction in which the third direction in which he went, but the Mufassirin have pretty much agreed that this was towards the north, because keeping the history in mind, it was that direction in which there was population. Down south there was not a lot of population that was known to people, so it most likely he went towards the north. Hatta إذا بلغ بين السدين, he reached between the two mountains. Saddain, two mountains. وجد من دونهما قوما, there he found a people. About those mountains, by those mountains he found a people. لا يكادون يفقهون قولا, again these people were also very savage, very uncivilized. They were unable to understand anything that Hazrat Zulqarnain said, so they spoke a totally different language. Now Hazrat Zulqarnain, he was a ruler of the most of the world, or pretty much all of the world. Still he was not able to communicate with them, so they spoke a very different language. قالوا, but somehow they communicated to Hazrat Zulqarnain. Ya Dhul Qarnayn, O Dhul Qarnayn, inna Yajooj wa Majooj mufsiduna fil ard. The tribes of Yajooj and Majooj, which are mentioned in the other scriptures as Gog and Magog, they are mischief makers on the earth. فَهَلْ نَجْعَلُ لَكَ خَرْجًا, so should we assign a tax for you, عَلَىٰ أَن تَجْعَلَ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَهُمْ سَدًّا, on the condition that you will make a barrier between us and them. So basically what they said, that we will pay you if you could make, you are a strong king, you have a lot of resources, if you could make a wall between us and them, because they come and they basically destroy our lands and our vegetation and everything. So they come out all every now and then and they destroy everything. So if you could make some barrier between us and them, then we'll pay you. Qala, Hazrat Qurnayn said, Ma makkanni fihi rabbi khair, what my Allah has given to me, already given to me, under my control, is better enough for me, so I don't need your money. فَأَعِينُونِي بِقُوَّةٍ, help me with manpower, help me with some manpower. أَجْعَلْ بَيْنَكُمْ وَبَيْنَهُمْ رَدْمًا, and I shall make a radm, a barrier between you, a fasil, a thick wall, a very strong wall, بَيْنَكُمْ وَبَيْنَهُمْ, between you and between them. آتوني زبر الحديد, Zubar al-Hadid means sheets of iron. So Atuni, bring me big pieces of iron. Atuni Zubar al-Hadid hatta idha sawa bayna as-sadafaini qala anfukhu, and they kept on bringing those until he placed them and filled the gap between those two mountains with those iron sheets. Qala infukhu, blow, and they started blowing. Hatta idha ja'alahu nara, until when he made it like fire. So this is basically that fire that is kindled with blowing. Little fire, you keep on blowing on it, and it starts to kindle. So that is how they made a fire and made that metal sheet. Hatta idha ja'alahu nara, made it like fire. Qala atuni ufri alayhi qitra, and then he said, bring me this molten copper, I will pour it upon this. So sheets of metal, sheets of iron, and then he poured molten copper or whatever it was to make it further strong. فَمَسْطَاعُوا أَن يَظْهَرُوهُ وَمَسْتَطَاعُوا لَهُ نَقْبًا. So he made it in such a way, it was so flat and so smooth that they were not able to climb it. The Yajooj and Majooj, they were not able to climb it, nor were they able to make a hole in it because it was of metal. So this is, and he said, قَالَ هَذَا رَحْمَةٌ مِّن رَبِّي, he said, this is a mercy from my Lord. فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي جَعَلَهُ دَكَّا, and when the time for the promise of my Lord will come, he will make it dakka, he will destroy it, basically he will make it leveled. وَكَانَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي حَقًّا, and the promise of my Lord is true. So the time when it will come, when it will be decided by my Lord, the promise that my Lord has made, that Yajooj Majooj will come out, then at that time Allah, by His will, He will destroy and annihilate this wall. It will become flat and Yajooj Majooj will come. Now in the Sahih Hadith we learn about Yajooj and Majooj. The Prophet ﷺ has mentioned some great fitan, one of them being Dajjal and the other one is Yajooj Majooj. So Dajjal will be killed by Hazrat Isa and then there will be a time of great peace. Hazrat Isa will live for 40 years. In that time, and during his time, Allah will tell him that now it is time that I am going to release these Yajooj and Majooj. The Yajooj and Majooj, They are, according to Mufassirin, they are the son of Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam. All humanity is the son of Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam. Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam had 4 famous sons. Qurnayn, who was killed in the, who went up the mountain and was killed. Then there's 3 others, Sam, Ham and Yafas. About Sam, historians have said that from him came the people of Arab, the Romans, the Persians, those kind of people. And from them, of course, the white people came later on. From Ham, the African population grew. The African population, basically they trace their lineage to Ham. And Yafas is that son of Nuh alayhi salam, from whom the populations of the Turkic populations, the Chinese, the Mongols, those people came. And the Mufassirin say that Yajooj, Majooj will also be the progeny of, from among Yafas ibn Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam. So this is the only sign that we get that they will be from among that group of people. It's not like we people just say the Chinese people are this and they are so much in number and all that. That is all baseless pretty much. We don't know the reality. Where they are, we don't know the reality. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not told us. But anyway, this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us. The time will come, Allah will tell Hazrat Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, then they will retreat to the mountains or take refuge in their castles and their houses, and these Yajooj, Majooj will come. And they will be very numerous in number. Very numerous in number. It is mentioned in a hadith that on the day of judgment, Adam alayhi salatu wasalam would be called by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and said, commanded to pick up the people of Jahannam from his children. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he would ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, who are they? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would say, 999 among each 1,000. 999 among each 1,000 are the people who are headed to hellfire. So the Sahaba became very worried. They said, Ya Rasulullah, what is going to happen if only 1% out of 1,000 is a Jannati, is going to heaven? The Prophet ﷺ said that Yajooj, Majooj, essentially Yajooj, Majooj will be so numerous that they would shift the balance in that way. That believers will be so little all over. In all of time, believers will be basically 1 compared to 999 of Yajooj and Majooj. So, very numerous. And they will come in such numbers that it has been mentioned that it will look like they are coming sliding down the mountains. When something is is a lot of, they will be so much that they will be so together that even their movement of legs will not be visible. It will appear as if they are sliding down from every mountain. And they will come and they will spread over the earth, and they will also go into the land of Sham, and they will climb a mountain and they will say that we have conquered the earth. Now we'll also, there's one hadith that mentions that they will say now we'll kill the population of the skies as well, and they will in some way or form they will shoot an arrow, which might be anything, but the Prophet ﷺ has called it an arrow, that they would shoot towards the sky and will return to them full of blood, and they would say that we have killed everyone in the skies as well. Hazrat Isa alayhi salatu wasalam would make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, Ya Allah, they have made a lot of mischief, now destroy them. Allah will tell him that now they are being destroyed, and then they will be destroyed. There will be some disease or some sickness spread among them, and they will all die. And then when Hazrat Isa alayhi salam will come down from that mount that he was taking refuge on, there will be a lot of stench. So he will make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send down some kinds of birds, which will be big birds, and they will pick up their bodies and take their bodies away and dump them wherever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has intended. And then a rain will fall upon all of the earth, which will wash away all the stench and their remains. So this is the story of Yajooj and Majooj. This is the reality of Yajooj and Majooj, and it's a great fitna. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us never see that time, inshallah, and die peacefully before all of these signs of Qiyamah start to come. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. So this is the story of Qurnayn, and this is the story of Qurnayn. This is the only story that is true and concrete. All other things, they are basically additions that do not have any basis. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم اجعلنا من أهل القرآن الذين هم أهلك وخاصتك. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلق سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.